Hello and welcome back. So just a quick recap. In the last lesson we created this Vite configuration file, and the file contained this line pointing to a React plugin. And the idea is that before Vite either runs as a web server or does a build, it runs this plugin, which is a utility program. The utility program will find all of the files which end in the extension .jsx, and these contain markup known as JSX, and it'll remove the JSX and replace it with regular JavaScript function calls. And in fact, those JavaScript functions will be React functions which come from these libraries which we incorporated into our package.json. Now, it wouldn't really be feasible to specify our entire application in between these parentheses. Clearly, we need a way of breaking it down into smaller components, and that's what this lesson is about. We're going to start off just by moving this little bit of HTML into a separate component, and then from there we'll start building more and more sophisticated components, but we'll just start off with this. So the first thing to notice is that in a standard HTML file like index.html, all of the tags, body, div, script, head, etc., they're all completely lowercase. And if the Vite plugin sees JSX markup like this, where the tags are lowercase, it knows that these are standard HTML markup tags, and it knows precisely what to do with them. If it sees a P, it knows that it's to create a paragraph element. But if we want instead to place one of our own components, we use an uppercase tag like this. So this here app is a React component, and the way we implement it is by creating a function called app. So let me show you. I'll import a function called app from a separate file. And by convention, the file will have the same name, and very importantly, it will also start with an uppercase letter. So let's go and create that file, app.jsx. And to start with, I'll just create the function using the function declaration syntax. I'll say there's a function called app, and it contains pretty much what we saw in the last. It's going to return, I'll change the text this time, our first React component. And I need to export this so it's readable by the other file. But apart from that, we're good to go. I can now just say npm run dev and display it. And we'll see it pops up nicely. Now there's a few small changes I'd like to make to this. The first one is that I'm going to change this to become an arrow function instead. So I'm going to say that a function, okay, const app equals an arrow function like that. And again, we'll see if we just pop this up. It's still working just fine. Typically, each file contains one component, and the component is exported as what's known as a default export. So let me show you. Instead of export here, I'll say export default app. You can have lots and lots of things exported here, but only one thing can be the default using a syntax like this. And if something is the default export, then it has to be imported like this without curly braces. So essentially, by not using curly braces, it means whatever we've put here is the default that's being exported from app.jsx. And again, we'll see that this works just fine. Let me just restart. There we are. No problems. And in fact, once we've exported something using this default syntax, we can rename it. So instead of saying app, I can say it's our app. And you'll see that works just fine. So this is now really beginning to look like a sort of regular React application. We've got a default export of an arrow function. The arrow function returns the JSX that we want to be displayed, and we import it by placing the name of the function as if it's an HTML tag here. Let me just revert the name, because app is also typically the name we use for the root element. In later lessons we'll see how this app is going to contain lots and lots of components, and those components will be made up of other components and so on. And so we have a truly scalable architecture for our React application. But for now, I'll bring this lesson to a close, and I'll see you in the next